Are you talking about?
Do you mean in a portfolio standpoint, or do you just mean in like delivery?
Collaboration.
Like when you collaborate with other companies and you send files to them, what?
You're talking about the final product?
Yeah. What's like a good like saving way of doing it? Like, do you save it like before video files? Do you save them as MP4s, all kinds of stuff like that?
I save mine as MOV. Yeah.
MOV.
Yeah, QuickTime MOV. That's unanimous.
What if someone does ask to be delivered in like different formats, or they don't really give you a response? Is it across the board? Has it worked well? Do you just deliver MOVs and people are like, yeah, we're fine with that?
Yeah, most people are fine with MOVs. Because I've had to submit my film to a lot of film festivals, they'll normally just tell you their guidelines. But you know, for companies, if you're applying for jobs and everything, I always just send them the Vimeo link, and that normally works out pretty well. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's like more of a working. It's more of like a working thing. Like you're working on a file. Like let's say one company's working on a movie, and another company's working on that same movie. What would be like a good transfer of how they do it? Like one company might use After Effects, and one company might use Premiere. Like
you're gonna have to contact them directly and ask what they need, because there are like hundreds and hundreds of programs out there. And if you're looking for something that's gonna be compatible with the program you're using, you have to know exactly what they're using if they're trying to share with you.
So communication.
Mm-hmm.
I know audio was touched on a little bit earlier, but back to that, I have like an external mic too, but I have a lot of like background noise problems. What would you suggest would be a good program to use to help get rid of
hang
that?
a lot of blankets around the room. Yeah, dampen the sound as much as possible. Build like build a little fort for your microphone. Try to keep it out of a room that has a refrigerator, air conditioner, a computer, any other machine parts. Bathroom is usually pretty good. Small space. Keep it get a long cord for your microphone. Keep it away from anything that's making any sound at all.
A closet.
Yeah, closets are good.
The bathroom might have echo, but the closet.
Say my bathroom is very echoey. So.
Yeah. Just put a lot of blankets and towels and carpets and stuff. And then whatever program you're using will likely have some EQ filters. Put like a high pass and low pass on it. Just cut out the super high stuff and the super low stuff, so you just have your voice right there in the middle of the frequency.
And part two, as far as 2D animation goes, what did you say the industry standard program was?
The industry standard is shifting to Harmony right now, and
Toon Boom Harmony.
Yeah, to Toon Boom Harmony. Now, as for like somebody getting started, Harmony is not going to be that attainable because it's very expensive. But a great entry point is still Flash. I mean, I still work in Flash, and I enjoy it. I mean, I haven't really mastered it, but it's still usable. But yeah, so when if you get a job or you go to work for a studio or you want to do your own thing, it's usually going to be there, and you cannot pirate that software.
For my company, Bento Box Animation, when we look at people to hire, we really just check out their work and see. It doesn't really matter to us what program you use, as long as you're open to learning that program, because a lot of people were hired and they had no idea how to use Toon Boom Harmony at all, and we're a Harmony-only studio. So what the company did initially for the first like 4 batches of people was they came in and they trained them. So yeah, Flash is, we never turned down people who knew Flash either. So.
My question is for writing your own story or make your own characters, how do you go about copywriting it? You know, just in case somebody, well, I did that actually, type thing.
You're asking how to copyright your characters?
Like your story, like your actual writing story, and your characters and everything.
You can submit your script to the Writers Guild. I think it's like a $10 fee, and they send you back a certificate that has an expiration date on it that you can renew regular. I think once every couple of years or something like that.
So I have to keep renewing it?
I think so. If I don't know, I've always had these high ideas and expectations of how my script would go, and then I send it in, and then something or nothing happens with them. I mean, if you have a character that's worth stealing, no one's going to steal it. It's going to be yours. You're going to be able to fight it. You're going to be able to prove it. And there's so much out there right now that I wouldn't worry about someone stealing your idea. Make sure your idea is great and really good, and that it's obviously you. And I think you'll be okay. So the writer's guild.
You'll get picked up probably before anything like that probably happens, I imagine. Is that what you're saying, Robert? Yeah.
And my last question is, like, what if after like I copyright it, like the story, and I decide to like add something to it at the end, or whatever? Is that needed? Or
I don't think that would change anything.
that would change anything? Okay, cool.
Wally, were you going to say something on that, or no?
Hi, my question is more so about the voiceover aspect. When would you need to go into that? Like, is it after the storyboard arcs part of the scheduling, or?
Yeah, I would definitely do it after. If you plan on submitting your film across the globe, then you're gonna have to worry about transcripts and cultural translations of your film. So make sure 100% that your film reads without the dialogue, within different cultures. If you've ever seen a film and it's got subtitles and you're able to watch it without really paying attention to what's being said, those films are very successful around the world. But the ones where you have to sit there reading every little thing because their actions, their acting don't translate, those are the ones that don't do as well. So I would highly recommend that you do your dialogue afterwards, after you've made sure you've got strong acting, and don't let the dialogue get in the way of your acting. Don't let it substitute good acting.
At the same time, you want to make sure that your voiceover, your voice track and your audio track can read without you want them both to be separated. Like if all you can hear is the audio, you want that audio to be amazing. And like an Archer script, or an Archer episode, you can turn off the screen and listen to it from the next room and it still sort of makes sense. Same with every good animation, you can look at it and kind of get what's going on without hearing it. I know that most of the time on Archer we are doing our storyboards at the same time that we're doing our voiceover cut, and then they're kind of paired at the same time. As soon as they're done, then they're married together. So there's storyboards and voiceover are some of the most important parts of it.
Okay, cool. And also, what program do you recommend for things like flowing fabric and blowing hair, things like that?
In 2D or 3D?
I guess in 3D.
In 3D.
Any 3D app has cloth simulations like Cinema 4D, 3ds Max, and Maya. They all have that.
Okay.
And again, check YouTube. There's tutorials on how to do them.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I am a 2D animator, and I work with Kim. He already asked the question, and he mentioned me, and I work in Toon Boom. But all that I do is fan animation. How do you suggest that I break into the professional animation thing?
By still doing fan animation. That's when somebody takes a look at your work, they're just going to see if it's the quality enough for them to hire you. They don't mind if it's like a trademark character or something like that. Obviously, you can't like sell that though. So that's really the only thing you can do those fan arts and things for your demo reel to get a job.
Are you looking into doing original work though?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So like we said earlier, fan art is great for applying for a job because you can show how well you can draw these characters and everything. But in terms of originally creating your own characters and animations, you just really have to go back to the story and think about what designs emphasize the story and are appropriate for the story, and also just referencing real life is probably one of the most important things you could ever do. And I know that when you look at animations like Miyazaki and everything, they're obviously are stylized, but he also believed that you need to go out and look at other people and see, like, I see this room full of like faces that all look completely different. And the more I draw all of these faces, a style just eventually kind of comes out. So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Real quick though, if I was just going to put my stuff on YouTube or something like that, I mean, like, is that a viable means of like trying to get my talent abilities out there to other people?
I look on YouTube all the time for new people to hire, constantly. Like, I look at animation blogs, and I try to find new talent that I haven't found anybody yet, but I found tons of that I've hired. I look at this stuff all the time. That's a huge channel for finding talent.
Hey, I am currently working on a cartoon with two other people, so basically the three of us. And one of those people actually does have connections with Turner Broadcasting. And they actually did see our first script, and they pretty much said that, yeah, you need to make it. But the thing behind it is that it's just the three of us, and out of the three, I'm basically artist, storyboarders, and animator. So, and the other guy is the editor, and the other guy is a co-writer. Anyway, to make a long story short, when it comes down to animation, I actually do Toon Boom Anime. And when it's got cars, stuff like that. I'm trying to learn how to draw cars. Anyway, but when it comes down to the animation, like, do you first draw like a rough sketch animation, and then do you go back, like, render that, and then like pretty much animate over it to make it cleaner? Or what's that animation process basically?
Usually what my process is, and I've only just started to dabble in Toon Boom, but pretty much what I do is I throw up. It's actually kind of like throwing up. I just throw at the scene or draw in roughs as quickly as I can, trying to figure out what exactly it is that what the best kind of drawing is for that as quickly as possible, so that I can throw away half of that and find the core of what actually is going to be usable and what actually will look good. That is just, kind of roughing it and stuff. Now, as in our production line, we have characters already built for that, or built for the scenes. So when I do finish up doing my rough drawings, kind of looking like the character, I then apply the design build of the character and apply it on top of it, and then kind of just orient the character to kind of pose the same way. And then I do cleaner drawings inside of those I guess symbols and stuff. It's not called symbols in Toon Boom, but it's kind of a similar sort of thing where the redrawing actually will be kind of a cleaner version of that rough, and simultaneously also doing, like, if they needed a lip sync or something like that, having that go on with it.
Attack it in layers. Do one draft and then another. Just keep doing your phases and building up. Each time you'll be able to see if the scene works or not.
And kind of second question. And also when it comes down to coloring, even though I know the animation is frame by frame, but do you also pretty much have to color each frame by frame by frame?
Depends on what program you're using. If you're using something like Flash, you may have to. If you're using Toon Boom, they have the ability for you to change colors just in one big sweep.
As far as I know, there's a paint bucket tool in Flash and Toon Boom as well, right?
It kind of depends on how you actually do the animation, whether or not you utilize the puppetry of the character already built for you, or if you do redraws. They kind of call it tradigital, where you act like a regular traditional animation, you do frame by frame animation, and not have the program kind of filling in the tweens for you. But I mean, those are both viable sort of options. We do it mostly the latter way in TV because it's so much faster, and unfortunately, though, sometimes it does make it a little stilted. So it just depends on if you have the proficiency to make it work. All right.
Also, for the person who had the question, you can come see me after the panel because that's my specialty is color in harmony, Toon Boom harmony. And since you work in Toon Boom Animate, I can just give you a whole bunch of tips, and anyone as well. So.
I learned a lot of great. I learned a lot about the great programs and technology today that can be used in animation, and I myself would not characterize me as the strongest drawer, or I'm struggling with drawing, etc. Do you think I can still be successful in the industry, because it seems like you rely a lot on programs?
More than half the team I work with doesn't know how to draw that much. We're a puppet-based show. So it depends on what you're working on. If you're doing stop motion, then your drawing skills, aren't going to be that important. If you're doing something traditional on a light table, yeah, you need to know how to draw. What about you, Robert? Do you have many people on your team that know how to draw?
Very few. The drawing skills will definitely come in handy because it is about how to visualize and translate the world around you into a 2D element. But if you don't, I would say keep working on your drawing, but it's not going to keep you from doing what you want to do, as long as it isn't drawing what you want to do.
And I'm not the very best draftsman myself, and really, honestly, when I was talking about roughs earlier, they are rough as hell, and they don't look anything like anything. They're kind of stick figures even, but it's basically trying to find that motion, and it's the timing and the motion that really kind of matters to what I do. And then I was talking about also applying then a built model, and that is a design that was made by our fantastic artists who build and design those things for us.
Guys, I want to let you know that I think we only have about 10 more minutes left. We're till Thanksgiving. We have enough time for just these 3 more questions. So, was that the end of your? Is that the end
I
of your
guess
answer?
so. I lost my train of thought.
You were rolling on a little bit.
Did I
I
help at all?
think.
Okay, good.
Come see us later. Yeah. Thank you.
Come on. I think we got time for you guys.
What are your thoughts on machinima and machinima making and that movie making, and how many frames are in a traditional cartoon and a 3D animation? Normal.
None of us are familiar with what machinima is.
Do you mean the website or the company Machinima, or is there?
It's a game, like it's machine and cinema kind of mixed using game engines, sort of like movie software.
Oh, okay.
And stuff.
I still
like
don't.
Movie Storm, iPhone, that type of stuff.
None of us can speak on that. It sounds awesome. I do know that standard television is 30 frames per second. Drop frame is something you don't need to worry about. But it's television is 30 frames per second. We animate on 24 frames and then translate it into 30 because it's easier that way.
And one last question is,
Adam, can you give him the mic? I can't hear him.
One last question is, in the background, in anime and different cartoons, is that 2D animation or 3D animation? How is that?
It really depends on the show for that. If you could, if you could tell us the show specifically after this panel, then we can go ahead and try to pinpoint exactly.